Hello and welcome all of you. My name is Abhay. Today topic is permit to work. What is permit to work system and why it is used? What is the procedure and what is the type of work permit system? All things we will know in this video. First of all, what is permit to work system? Permit to work system is a formal written procedure used to control access and activities of personnel in the construction. To ensure safety of personnel and prevent damage to equipment, permit to work system is used. It is also means of communication between site management, supervisor and operator who carry out the work. Permit to work normally implemented in a work activity near inside the operating facility or there is buried or near operation system or where the client thinks that permit to work is deemed necessary. Next one is how is work control within the permit to work system. Permit to work system in the permit to work system, work is controlled by following various steps detailed in the permit to work procedure and by using a special document called work permit. You have to keep in mind work permit are not simple permission to carry out work, but they determine how the work can be carried out safely. Then next question is type of work permit. In the workplace you will find hot work permit. If any naked flame is there, then it will be called hot work permit. Confined space entry permit, electrical permit, energizing and de-energizing system, excavation permit, radiographic permit, crane critical lift permit, man basket operation permit, cold work permit. So these are the types of permit commonly used at the construction site. What is hot work permit? Hot work can be classified as any types of work which involve actual or potential source of ignition and which is done in an area where there may be risk of fire or explosion or which involve the emission of toxic fumes from the application of heat. This is called hot work permit. What is confined space entry permit? A confined space entry permit is normally used to specify the precaution to be taken to eliminate the hazard associated with the dangerous fume, gases, liquid, solid or lack of oxygen, harmful residues, radiation or moving machinery from confined space or from any other source before a person is permitted to enter in confined space. So you know what is confined space, enclosed nature which has some associated risk like flammable gases, toxic gases, deficiency of oxygen. If there is such types of conditions, so before entering that space you have need confined space permit. This is the picture of a confined space where you need confined space entry permit. What is electrical permit? Including energizing and de-energizing and is normally used to cover any work on electrical equipment and precaution to be taken to eliminate the risk of electric shock, electrocution to people carry out the work or damage to property. If you are working on the system where you cutting the power supply and then you have to work, that is called de-energizing electrical permit. So for both types of work electrical permit is required. This is the example of where electrical permit needed. Next one is excavation permit. What is excavation? You know excavation is the man-made cut on the earth is called excavation, or excavation permit is required for any work to be carried out where existing lines or service may be buried or encountered. So in this case we need excavation, and if any types of digging you are doing manually, then excavation permit is required. Any excavation deeper than 0.3 meter, so you need to take permit, and this number will vary from company to company. If you are doing excavation activity near existing structure, for example electrical post, building, permanent equipment, such types of situation is there, then you need excavation permit. Excavation activity in area where classified as a safe area for excavation, a blanket permit may be requested for long duration of time. For long period of time you can use other types of permit, that is called blanket permit, or in another company it may be known as the different types of permit. So you have to see your procedure what types of permit is required. This is the picture where we need excavation permit. Radiography. What is radiography permit? Radiography permit is normally used to cover industrial radiography, safe working practice and procedure to be taken to eliminate the risk associated with the radioactive sources, like X-ray is there and NDT testing. So this types of testing is there, and there is source of radiograph then you need radiography permit. This is the one example of NDT testing, I think alpha particles. Crane critical lift permit. You know, crane critical lift permit means if you are lifting something, and this permit is needed when lifting equipment, if lifting require rigging study, like load is 40 ton and above, but in some companies this load may vary. In some company 5 ton above, some company 10 ton above. So you have to study your procedure, your company procedure, and what load they have mentioned for the critical lifting, you have to use that. So this is the one example, load is 40 ton and above, that is called critical lift. Second one is crane lift is performed in high risk environment. High risk environment means if there gas line, process equipment, is such types of equipment is there, that is called high risk environment. And third one is load is too big, wide to lifted, like if the shape and size of the load indicate lifting where 2 or more cranes are required, that is called tandem lifting. So in that case critical lift permit required. This is the one example of critical lift permit. Next one is man basket operation. You know, man basket, prior to use any man basket suspended from a crane for hoisting personnel, the highest level of project management must be determined and be sure that conventional means is more hazardous or impossible due to structural design or work size condition. So approval must be signed, and in that cases man basket operation permit required. This is the one example where we need a permit, man basket operation permit. One man basket is suspended in crane hook. So for the man basket operation, a trial lift is required prior to actual riding of personnel inside the basket to make sure that operator can safely position the man basket in the intended location. So this is a requirement. This is the one another photo for man basket operation. In permit to work system, you found permit issuer, permit receiver. So you know, in a permit to work system, minimum 2 parties required. First one is permit issuer, and that is called permit authorizer, also called permit authorizer. Another person, permit receiver. So these 2 people required, and third people may be also involved, like permit holder. In many companies you found that there are more than 3 parties involved in the permit to work system. Then what is the permit receiver responsibilities? Permit receiver responsibilities, this is a task of supervisor who are directly responsible for the work started in the permit shall be the receiver of the permit. He shall clearly define the job to be done and the exact location and nature of the work. Also to ensure that the condition on the permit are met is full. So this is the responsibility of the receiver. And next responsibility is the receiver shall be fully aware of all requirement stated in the permit and comply with them at all times. The receiver shall fully brief the work crew to ensure that requirements are clearly understood by the crew under his supervision. The receiver shall ensure the work is performed in accordance with the condition specified in the permit. He shall remain at the work site to supervise the work. And next responsibility is the receiver shall ensure that under no circumstances shall by his own discretion or his crew change the original scope of the work and which is described in the permit. Next responsibility of the permit receiver is the receiver shall request a new permit in the event of change in a scope of work becomes necessary. Next one is whenever site conditions are drastically changed, the receiver shall immediately stop the work and inform the issuer of the change for the further instruction from him. Next one is upon the occurrence of any emergency, the receiver shall immediately stop the work and shut down all equipment. The receiver shall request new permit in the event of change in a scope of the work becomes necessary. Upon the occurrence of emergency, the receiver shall immediately stop the work and shut down all the equipment. The receiver shall report the completion of the work or the expiration of validity of permit to the receiver and ensure that site is kept clean and tidy without any smoldering ignition source. And if the work in progress require extending the validity stated in the permit, the receiver shall suspend the work and request an issuance of new permit. What is the responsibility of HSE permit coordinator? The HSE permit coordinator designed by the area construction manager is responsible for daily coordination of the work permit. This system may vary from company to company. This is a typical example of permit to work system. So you just get idea from here. So second responsibility is he is responsible for full clerical control of system, including retention of the closed out work permit for 1 month period. Has the full overview of planned, opened and suspended work permit on the visual display in the permit to work office. What is the operational procedure for work permit system? A work permit system is consists of 3 pages. This is a set of 3 pages. The white page shall be kept by the receiver and kept at the work location, where yellow page shall be kept by the issuer and green page shall be kept by the HSE permit coordinator. Second, the description of work shall be precise statement of the planned activity. The location of work by identification of the area or equipment to be worked upon, and broad scope of the work or general nature are not acceptable. Method statement, risk assessment or job safety analysis will be produced for the critical activity and shall be attached to and from part of the permit. Such additional documents shall be attached to original of the permit. Fourth, where additional permit or certificates are required, they will be attached to and from part of the permit to work. Fifth, the receiver shall produce the permit to work. Contractor responsible personnel for work requested in the permit for review and verification by 15 hours a day prior to commencement of the work. As soon as the review and verification has been made, the receiver shall bring the verified permit to the HSE permit coordinator. The HSE permit coordinator shall scrutinize the permit, including safety precautions and requirement stated in the permit, and deliver to the receiver. The HSE permit coordinators should consult HSE personnel for professional advice or suggestion required to work safely. The receiver shall bring the permit to issuer, who shall review the permit to ensure that all required safety precaution measures are stated and authorize the permit. Next point, on the day of work, the issuer in the person together with the receiver shall go to the site to ensure that all requirements in the permit are met and hand over the permit to receiver. Issuance of the permit to receiver in the office shall not taken place. Next, upon the receipt of the permit from issuer, the receiver can commence the work. When no further work is to take place under the permit, the receiver shall sign off and return the permit to issuer to close the permit. Upon the receipt of the permit, the issuer and receiver shall inspect the work site to ensure that no smoldering is present and the work site is clean and tidy and equipment is left in a safe condition. So the issuer shall return the invalid permit to HSE permit coordinator for the file. So it will be kept as a record. What is the revalidation process? Revalidation of the permit. When the work calls for extension of the permit, the receiver shall suspend the work and request an extension of the validity to issuer. The issuer is responsible for ensuring that all the precaution and requirement are still in place and the condition of the work site are maintained safe for the personnel and the equipment. If the issuer agrees to extend the permit, he shall define the time of the expiry and sign in the permit to authorize the extension. The receiver return the extended permit to work site and resume the work. What to do in case of emergency situation? If emergency situation happen, such as fire incident, toxic gas release, natural calamities has taken place, the receiver shall immediately stop all the works and shut down all the equipment. All permits shall be nullified and no work shall be resumed unless new permit has been issued out by the issuer. Prior to issuance of a new permit, the issuer shall visit the work site to ensure that there is no imminent hazard risk present and that the work site is safe for work. I am going to show a work permit flow chart. First, responsible supervisor originate permit, then review and verify permit by the permit receiver, and then HSE coordinator accept permit, then issuer authorize the permit, then carry out work. After completion the work finished, then close the permit. Permit receiver and issuer will close the permit. HSE permit coordinator will file the permit. If work not finished, then revalidate permit, and then again it will authorize permit by issuer. So this is the flow chart of the work permit system. So what we have learned today, the permit to work is designed to provide a safe system of work that can be applied to work identified by the virtue of perceived risk. This shall be applied to the contractor controlled construction activity on the project. Permit requirement for the activity other than those mentioned in the procedure shall be re-evaluated, especially for the potentially hazardous activity where an extra degree of work control is felt to be appropriate. So I hope you like this video. If you are new to my channel, kindly share, subscribe with your friend. Don't forget to hit the bell icon for more update. So I will meet you in the next video. Take care. Bye bye.